The more you distance yourself from your true self, the more dissatisfaction and lack of fulfillment you find in your life. And no amount of fucking or girls liking you will solve any of that. It'll just distract you. I was distracted for years with that. And at the end of it, because I'm a pretty existential thinker, I suppose. I was a professional philosopher. I did it for a fucking living as a professor. So eventually I kept encountering this. And I guess if you were not too smart, you just go around like another dog and just keep eating the next meal. And eventually you die. And so I imagine there are some people who like that, they're just not too smart. And so they never ask the deeper questions. But if you're intelligent, and I really only speak to intelligent people, masculinity for the intelligent man, right? You're going to be asking these questions. You're going to be wondering, why is my life so empty? Why is it that no matter how much pussy I get, no matter how much adulation I get, it's never really enough to rest. I have to keep going back for it. And sometimes here's the biggest mistake, right? Well, the biggest mistake the mistake that will waste a couple of years of his life is that he thinks that the girl who likes him back, that they get into a relationship and then he can rest and go back and become himself. But actually, he's either going to rest and become his false player self. So if I could reside as the Asian rake, all the time then, and live as that false self, hoping that that's my true self, because I plan to live in that self for the rest of my life, right? And then that is a recipe for disaster in terms of mental health and wellness. Or he hasn't internalized those lessons, so he was just a fake pickup artist superficially, and then he reverts back to when he relaxes and just wants to kick back and play some video games or watch Game of Thrones. He goes back to his nerdy self, which he wasn't really proud of. And then what happens is the girl loses respect for him, starts picking on him. And then he calls that drama, and all this other shit happens. And then he's like, oh, fucking bitches. Right? And so that either way, you're fucked. Either way, you're going to have to get some therapeutic help. Okay, so this is the reason why I'm focusing on these sorts of concepts, the deeper psychology. So these predatory women are also at it for ego supply. They're not just after it for sex. Because if a woman just wanted sex, she wouldn't have to try at all. In fact, she wouldn't even have to go into a nightclub. Right? Because the guys in the nightclub, they're, kind of whatever. But she could just go to the gym or whatever her fetish is and say, hey, you want to get some nookie in the back? And the guy would be like, okay. Right? There's actually studies on this where they actually had girls walk up to guys and proposition them. Right? It's like 100%. Guys are like, okay, let's do it. No one's going to find out. Yeah, let's go. And it was like the opposite when the men did it. So anyway, it's really easy for women. Women don't dress up and get all slutty in the club to get sex. That might be the cherry on the top at the end for her, but often she's not even going to be into the sex. It's just to get the ego, the narcissistic supply of the admiration of others, the attention, the applause, the desire of others.